podcast is sponsored by Happy Warrior Kava. Be a happy warrior. Drink, relax, and enjoy the strong and smooth taste of the best-selling kava in the islands. Happy Warrior Kava.
Aloha and welcome to another installment of HNN Overtime, the Hawaii News Now Sports Podcast. It is the full crew. I am Kyle Chinen, joined as always by Cienna Pilotin, Davis Pitner. What's up, guys?
What's going on, everyone?
Hi. We're back.
Another week.
We're back in normal clothes.
Yeah. I gotta say, I like us.
Yeah.
I don't mind wearing a Mahomes jersey every week if y'all will allow me.
I mean, we always have our little segment. We probably won't get to it this week, but we do always have our little tangent about the Chiefs, the chefs.
We're not gonna get to it this week, guys.
Not this
just
week.
hold us to it.
Unfortunately. Sorry.
Yeah. Keep a counter if you're watching at home. If it happens, call us out. Email us.
Yeah. Email Kyle, actually.
Email me,
I'm
yeah.
good.
Anytime we bring up Taylor Swift or the Sphere, we should just have a
That's
counter,
Davis's.
just a counter going on.
Any type of spherical object.
Anytime.
Put that one down for the spherical objects. But yes, we are not in referees, and we are not Patrick and the Mahomies this week. We are back to our normal selves. How was your guys' Halloween?
It's pretty good. It was surprisingly slow for us.
Really?
We bought 2 bags of candy and no trick-or-treaters at all.
What?
No one. We did see someone, we did see a family like walking by, and I almost wanted to shout out like, hey,
Please come
over here.
We're open.
Like, we're open.
Giving away free candy.
Lights on, like little decoration. No one, dude.
Really?
It was
So your whole neighborhood, there wasn't much people walking around?
It was crazy. Yeah, there really wasn't that many people. And I don't know if it's from the fire too or not. In my area over in Mililani, YPO, it's very smoky. Like all of our cars are covered in ash and everything. So I think maybe the air quality, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Lots of candy.
You wear a Freddy Krueger mask, you be good, girl.
The Jason mask, you be alright.
The Jason, yeah.
Ninja mask, any.
Ooh, a ninja mask, yeah.
But
you guys just stayed home?
We just stayed home, watched scary movies, some Netflix.
Ooh,
so
what you watch?
The best time.
Yeah, it was fun. It was just nice and relaxed. Too much candy left over though.
I was about to say that's one of the perks.
Yeah.
You guys have
2
two
bags.
It's a perk and then like a bad thing too.
Yeah, that's
it's
a
like
lot.
it's a lot. If you guys want some,
I'd be happy to
I'll
take some
take
off
some
the
too,
town.
yeah.
You guys want some?
I brought in.
We got 2 bags.
Oh, I heard that. You thought we were gonna slip that one in. No. I was at my roommate's family's house helping them pass out candy, and I was low-key sneaking some Almond Joys because none of the kids were taking them.
I think
Foolish.
happily they would have given it to you. Like, I don't think there was any reason to sneak them.
I was taking them, and then I actually brought in. We had an extra whole full bag too. Brought it into work the other day. It is gone.
Oh,
It
yeah,
is gone.
I mean, anything on the
Surprisingly,
airplane desk.
everything except for the Twizzlers.
Yeah,
You see that?
Yeah.
Is,
Everything
the amount
is
of times I walked past
gone.
those Twizzlers today, nobody has touched them.
I mean, I'm not a big Twizzler guy to be honest. I'm not like a licorice guy to begin with, so I can see why it's kind of being, neglected and forgotten about. Big 0 on the scoreboard for Twizzlers. And
Yep, there it is.
transition into our next topic.
I knew that was
Getting into the episode. A big
Well
0
done,
on
Kyle.
a big
Well
0
done.
on the scoreboard for the Rainbow Warriors football team.
I like how we always have to have some sort of transition and be like
It just
some sort of
flows.
weird.
We're
It
just
does
good.
flow.
flow.
We're
We're
just-
getting better at it
we're
too.
getting really good.
Yeah.
We're
We're getting pretty
Cooking,
good.
But you
Sorry,
know what also is cooking? San Jose.
San Jose.
Oh,
Let's
let's go.
UH falling to San Jose State,
Oh,
35 to nothing last weekend in
Rough one.
Manoa. First shutout loss at home since 1998 against SMU, and man, that one kind of stung.
That's a
That
rough
one
one.
stung way harder than I honestly expected because, like Kyle said, to get shut out. The last time UH did that at home, I wasn't even born yet, Davis. I was not born yet. And to lose to San Jose, now, as the week kind of approached, I was like, I think Chevin's going to beat us.
Yep.
I think we can all say that. San Jose is the better team. Hawaii's just not looking too great this year.
Yeah.
But to not be able to even get in field goal range, like we couldn't even get 3 points on the board. It was tough to watch, and I love hanging out at UH and, the game day environment. But honestly, after halftime, I was telling Kyle, I was like, I'm not enjoying this. There's no reason to stay. And we're, not to be those people, but like we literally get in for free. I cannot imagine these people that spent, their Christmas money trying to get tickets to a UH game, and they don't even put a point on the board.
I know. I mean, I think it was, I think at halftime too, I was talking to Cienna, and I was like, I don't think they've made it to the red zone yet.
So boring. It was so boring.
I was trying to remember and think, but it was one of those moments where, because, I mean, for this team in particular this season, we know that the offense takes about a quarter and a half to get going. But then once, hold on, I had to pause. That's my guy, Solo Vaiopolu.
Oh my gosh, Kyle loves this guy. And also shout out to him, not to cut you off, but also shout out to him. He was on he was our leading rusher at one point.
Yeah, like
we ended
midway through the first half.
Yeah,
wild.
and we ended the night with Matthew Shipley, kicker punter, as our leading rusher. Right after him was Landon Sims. Right after him was Solo Vaiopolu. So just two guys that if you told me at the beginning of the year that our leading rushers versus San Jose State and Chevin Cordero would be Matthew Shipley and Solo Vaiopolu, I would have told you you're out of your mind. And here we are.
I mean, even on a bad night, it was super uncharacteristic for this team. Because, I mean, if you look at some of the other scores, they at least put points on the board. Especially during
at least a field goal
at
too.
At least a Matthew Shipley field goal.
And maybe for lack of a better term, a garbage time TD against Oregon, against Vanderbilt was competitive. I'll say that, but against an Oregon, they were able to score at least 10 points.
That's what I'm saying because I left about maybe 5 minutes left in half once they put, or not in half, 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Once they put Jake Farrell in, I watched for a little bit and then I left. And I didn't realize we got shut out because I assumed I'd leave and we'd get some point. Even a garbage time field goal, something that's worthless but to put points on the board. And when I got back to the station and really saw that score, that we've had 0 points, I was like, we couldn't get nothing on the board.
Let me just say, too, we predicted this was going to happen. I mean,
not a shutout, though.
Not a shutout, but, I mean, we all kind of knew this was, they're going to be a loss for them. And I have to say, I called it, too. Kyrie Robinson, mean, he won that game.
Yeah.
It's 17 carries, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, what else are you going to do? We saw that coming. UH just doesn't have a, run-stop defense. They just can't stop the run. Also, side note, thanks to UH, Kyrie Robinson is now tied for first in the nation with 13 touchdowns. So congrats to Kyrie. But
yeah, I mean, I think going into the week, knowing that San Jose was 10-point favorites in our house on homecoming, we should have saw it coming.
Right.
That was the dead giveaway there because that never happens in college football unless there's a big drop-off in between teams, and we saw it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, which is crazy because drive one, Kyle and I look at each other and we're like, wait, this game might be different than we expected because there was a couple of blunders by Chevin. He, missed snap, just he looked a little nervous and just didn't look like himself. So we were like, oh my gosh, maybe it's going to be a closer game than we think. And then right after that, Kyler Halverson, who used to also play for us, local boy, Kaiser grad, he also missed a field goal.
Yep.
And so we were like, oh my gosh, Hawaii, this could be a game.
We were kind of excited.
We were. Yeah. And the immediate drive after, they started cooking, and you could tell Chevin got comfortable, and he started feeling himself a little bit.
And even in his quote-unquote homecoming, he really didn't have to do that much because of Kyrie Robinson in the backfield. He only had 16 completions for 251 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he really didn't have to take the game over necessarily for them to get a win because we just were not operating at all.
Yeah. I mean, 198 total yards. I mean, it's so unrealistic too for, Shager too. I mean, he's been putting up nonstop every single game, 300 plus yards a game.
There were some questionable plays by Shager, and it wasn't always his fault because the line didn't really give him any help.
I mean, 4 sacks too.
4 sacks. The line really didn't protect him, and he couldn't look. I mean, Ashlock, his number one guy, only got 2 targets the whole game. That's like him or McBride. And I mean, it was a lot of Kawhi Nishigaya. Like, he had a solid game, yes, but like that's not gonna do it. You gotta look downfield, but he just didn't have enough time. When
you look at the route tree too, like Kawhi Nishigaya is really just the dump off safety valve, because
3 yards.
When you're a quarterback, you need time to see first read, which is the main guy that you want to look at, and if he's jumbled up, you have to go through your read tree, and he just wasn't able to get enough time for A, the receivers to separate, and B, just to see his reads, so he had to just dump it off, or he would get sacked, or he'd be rushed out of the pocket, which, I mean, Shager has wheels. We've seen it all year, but he is a pocket passer.
Yes.
He is he operates best when he gets to stay in the pocket and use his arm. So, I mean, you see him running there for, I think, a first down, but that's really a last resort type of thing.
He is celebrating
really is,
there. But comparing to Shevin, it's not even close. Like, Shevin is shifty, and I totally forgot because we just don't watch his games anymore. And, when he was our quarterback, we always took that for granted, I guess you could say. But watching him in person, like, wow, for a quarterback, he's quick, man.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, like, you saw that a couple clips ago, Jonah Kahawai Welsh got sacked him, but that was on second effort. He slipped out of the first attempt. Yeah. And he just ran out of room. But if he had some daylight, he was gone. And you knew he was going to be gone. But, I mean...
Just so like him, too. We knew that was going to happen. Yeah. I mean, we knew he was a fast guy. Probably knew it. Timmy knew that.
They knew it.
And they I'm sure they came up with a plan to try and stop it. But, I mean, looking at it, 468 total yards, that plan did not work. So, I mean... it's just crazy to see a shutout.
Despite the final score, you got to give credit to the defense a little bit. They did have some key stops to try and get this offense to get back on the field and put something together. They just couldn't get it done offensively. But, Shevin just wore that defense down to where the final score was. But, hopefully we can look up. I mean, talk to the team before their road game, which we'll get into the road game right now. But talk to them. They're trying to, get back on track and trying to salvage at least the last couple of games here this season. And they're going to do it on the road in a place that is familiar to Timmy Chang. And a lot of his staff members.
It is a homecoming for him.
We are talking about UH at Nevada, at Nevada in Reno. UH right now 2-7, Nevada 2-6.
If this is a game you have to win, you have to win this game.
Exactly.
Any game, you have to win this game. Like,
it's just, I mean, Hawaii or the Timmy Chang era, they just don't win on the road, so it's just hard to think about them going into Reno. It's cold up there at their house.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think we can win this one.
I think it's really UH's. I think it's really UH's game to lose. Yeah. Looking at Nevada, there's nothing really special. I'm sorry, Nevada, but there's nothing really special with them. Their quarterback is ranked 124. Their running backs ranked 197. UH has better players.
I agree.
But it's every single time we see them coming into a game that they should win, they just beat themselves, whether it's like penalties or, just making bad decisions from Shager. I mean, it could be anything, but UH always seems to fall short in these situations on the road.
I agree, Davis.
I agree. I mean, hopefully this shutout and even the loss to New Mexico the week prior can, wake them up in a sense.
Those are nice.
I mean, they're kind of back to like kind of the classic Nevada look. I will say they were getting a little bit of.
They had a couple new uniforms.
Yeah.
I was scrolling through their Instagram, and they have a bunch. They have those darker ones, and then I think they're going to be pulling out the lighter ones for UH's game.
UH is going to be rocking black helmets, white jerseys, black pants again.
Yeah.
It is true.
Also, just want to give a shout out, to UH. Because, big stats. Shager ranked 5th in the nation, 2,565 yards, 20 touchdowns. Stephen McBride is ranked 15th in the nation with 733 yards and 8 touchdowns. And then Pofeli Ashlock is ranked 1st among freshman receivers with 572 yards and 5 touchdowns.
And you can only utilize those weapons if you give Shager time.
Yeah. The line is not good.
And I think, Nevada doesn't boast anyone, no offense, no offense to Nevada, but nobody special up front that's going to disrupt this pass game. So this should, on paper, we keep saying on paper, right, guys? This should be an advantage for Hawaii to be able to get this run and shoot offense operating, but they need to do it quick. They need to do it fast.
One thing to note about Nevada as well, looking at everything, their quarterback is not only ranked for his, completions, but he's also their top rusher too.
Oh,
he is.
We have to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So their quarterback, Brendan Lewis, rushing wise, has 415 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Dang.
Their running back only has 290 yards and 3 touchdowns. So
Sean Dollars.
He's a
Well, that's kind of
Sean Dollars.
Kind of an all-time name.
That's a good name.
That's a good name. I would want that name.
Any relations to Ty Dolla $ign, maybe?
It's quite literally not the same.
Yeah, I don't know if that's. That was good though, Kyle.
No.
I like that.
You win some, you lose some.
It wasn't
It's fine.
good at all.
I know. It was bad. It was a bad one.
Yeah,
And
but dual threat quarterback though.
Yeah.
UH has struggled in the past against them. This guy
literally
seems like another
just
one.
last week.
Just last week.
I feel like they've faced a couple here in the Mountain West this season. It was New Mexico, right? New Mexico State, actually. New Mexico State had a really good dual threat quarterback, and Chevin, obviously. So you got to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know. And I think it does help that Chang knows some of these guys. Timmy Chang knows some of these guys and a little bit about the way they call their games. So that'll help. But all in all, Hawaii on the road, I don't know if this is a game that they break their streak. I don't know when they will break their streak. I just don't know if going into Nevada is it.
Yeah. 4-point dogs, I believe, going into this game.
And this is probably their coldest game that they played this year?
Probably before they head to Laramie. I think they have to go to...
Did they go to Colorado?
No.
Okay.
We have Air Force at home and Colorado State at home.
Okay, yeah. So Wyoming.
The two colder places in the Mountain West, or one rather, because they're both in Colorado, but they don't have to go there. But yeah, Laramie, Wyoming is going to be probably their coldest game. But this will be, as of right now, a chilly one.
Well, one place, switching sides, one place that isn't cold is actually hot here. And we're talking about high school sports. The championship. The championship is hot. We're right here.
It is hot.
This is what everyone has been waiting for. This is an exciting time, something near and dear to Kyle Chinen's heart. As a proud alum, Millville's finest, Kyle Chinen. Kyle, what do we got? What do we got coming up on Saturday
we have
that you're excited?
OIA Open Division Championship between the Mililani Trojans and the Kahuku Red Raiders. It is
there we go.
Probably the two best teams in the OIA Open Division right now, squaring off for this league title, and Kahuku at a solid 10-1. And Mililani at a solid 9-1. And let's just be fair, Kahuku has not lost to a Hawaii team yet this year. That loss came to Mater Dei, national powerhouse in California, and the Trojans lost to Punahou to open the season, and since then they've been on a tear. It's one of those matchups where we kind of thought maybe the week prior in the semifinals, the Mililani Campbell game would have been a little bit more of a action-packed thriller. Not as exciting as years past, but this one should be pretty interesting. And these two teams didn't face each other in the regular season. They are on opposite ends of the quote-unquote divisions in the OIA season.
Oh, but those boys.
Yeah. This is a team that, honestly, going from personal experience, that this team haunts Mililani teams. Let's just be real here.
Why, Kyle?
I can take you back circa 2015 actually. Same scenario, OIA championship. Mililani. I mean, look at that.
That hit gets me every time. Every time I see that replay.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just the fact that these guys were nationally ranked at one point, that should tell you everything.
It's going to be hard for an Oahu team or a Hawaii team rather when we get to states to beat these guys. It's going to be really tough. But yeah, back to 2015, we got cooked by the Red Raiders in my OIA championship game. I'm not afraid to say that as an alum of Mililani, but I'm going to take your job a little bit, Davis.
Go for it.
Little stat guy.
Little stat guy. This is your team, Kyle. Take over.
This is your team.
I mean,
Kyle's a homer.
I'm a realistic homer. I will root for them until
the Red Raiders
come to town. Yeah. Until I start hearing the Kansas City tomahawk chop, I know
it's true.
It always hits me right in the heart when I hear it. But anywho, Mililani, they got a QB on their hands.
They do.
Kenny McMillan, the junior. He's only thrown 4 interceptions all year, but he has thrown for 2,713 yards and 35 touchdowns, which sounds staggering. But if you look at a Mililani offense, it is pass first, pass happy, and they will sling it. And that's just history repeating itself, rather, with the amount of air raid that this team produces. But I will say, when Kahuku started passing the ball a couple years ago and really evolved their offense from a pure run-heavy game to adding the pass game, they've become even more dangerous. Their quarterback this year, Tuli Tagovailoa-Amosa, his first year up north with the Red Raiders, he has completed 73 passes. He's only thrown 2 interceptions, 947 yards, and 14 touchdowns. And for a team that is primarily run first, that is impressive. And, I mean, you see him there, too. He has a little bit of dual threat ability, able to run the ball into the end zone right there against St. John Bosco. You got the dump pass. But, yeah, like I said, the run game for Kahuku, they have a guy, Va'ai Malai Fonoti. He is 799 yards and 12 touchdowns. Guys, this is going to be a slugfest, if I can be frank. It's going to be a tough one for, honestly, either team that they see. And yeah, I mean, you've seen some of the high school football action this year. Just kind of how do you think these two teams compare?
Well, I mean, there's a significant barrier between these two teams and pretty much the rest of the league.
Yeah.
These two are quite literally they run the place.
Yeah.
I know you're a Mililani fan, and I would rather. You're right. I would rather see Mililani win it all. I just think that there's kind of a big drop off between Kahuku and Mililani.
I can agree too. And when you look at the defense of Mililani, they've been playing really good, but they have not seen a Kahuku offense yet.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to show. This one, obviously, I think both teams have circled on their calendars. As an alum, I just don't know how this is going to go.
Yeah, you guys have been to these high school games, and I've been to a couple, but I did go to that Kahuku game, and Kyle was there, and let me just say, I mean, that offense and even defense too, I mean, they can make the hits like this one right here, which just scares you every single time. To beat a team like St. John Bosco, I mean, the rest of the teams that you face aren't going to compare to that.
No.
They're really not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Mililani, they can throw the ball, but I have a feeling in this game, Kahuku is just going to run it, let the clock keep running, and still make scores. And I think they're going to win this game. I mean, I'm sorry, Mililani.
I mean, I can agree with you guys on that one.
I just don't know if you could beat a team that good.
Yeah.
With Kahuku.
And especially if they're firing on all cylinders, sometimes they'll get slow out the gate. It doesn't matter. But if you get a full-fledged Kahuku team, it's a scary sight for any team that faces them. I know we don't have any B-roll for these other ones, but I do want to shout out the rest of the OIA slate.
Yes, yep.
We have the Division II OIA title between Kaimuki and Roosevelt. And, I mean, me and C have actually gone to – it feels it kind of feels like we've actually been to a handful of these guys' games all season.
Yeah.
And I mean, talk about underdogs making it to the title game.
I know, it's quite crazy. And they're the two teams that I actually wanted to. Like, it was, not to root for certain teams, but I was rooting for certain teams. I liked both of them, both upsets, both kind of gritty offenses, gritty teams in general.
Yeah.
I think this will be a great matchup. I'm so excited, and big fan of Kyle Chinnen's quarterback. We talk about him every week, but I just think he's gonna be so good. He has all the tangibles, and I am excited to see. I want them to keep going. I want the Bulldogs.
Yeah,
to keep going.
I will say to piggyback off of what Cienna said, Iosefa Letuli has all the measurables to be an open division quarterback who just happens to play for Kaimaki. And
he's ready for the Mountain West. He's ready.
He's a big boy, and he has a good arm, and he can truck some folk.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's a big boy when you see him in the A gap. And then in the D1 you have Waipahu and Farrington, two teams we could have predicted we would have seen in this title matchup. Marauders, they lost like their first handful of games and then just rattled off the rest of their schedule to make it back to the title match. Farrington back to kind of an old school ground and pound, tough defensive front. So honestly, if Waipahu can't stop the run, I see it being a Govs OA title once again.
Wow.
The kids from down the road in Kalihi.
I don't know.
The kids from down the road.
And I think the thing about Waipahu is they're getting hot at the right time.
That's true.
We watched a lot of their games early on in the season, and they just were not looking good. Something wasn't clicking. They had guys on, that were coming back from injury and stuff, so it took a while to kind of get rolling, but they got hot at the right time. We kind of stopped really paying attention to them really towards the end of the season, and all of a sudden you look up and you're like, wait, they're really good.
Yeah.
And things are working the way that it should for them. So I don't know. I think I've only been to a couple of Governor games. I've been to a lot more Waipahu games, but I don't know if I agree with Kyle on that one.
Ooh,
we shall see.
We shall see.
Some debate.
To Waipahu's credit, they have found their guy at quarterback. They're kind of going through kind of a carousel this season, but they have, I think he's a sophomore, Elijah Mendoza. He is kind of their diamond in the rough, so it's going to be exciting. Davis, talk about diamonds in the rough.
Oh, here
Talking
we go.
of
Wow.
other diamonds,
Yes.
let's
Wow.
go! We're
Kyle's on a roll
was
today.
good. I
That
will
was
say.
good. That was good. Of course, we're talking, what Kyle's referencing to is the World Series. The Rangers have won against the
Yay.
Diamondbacks. This is
Drew.
huge. This is the first World Series for the Rangers. Texas fans are celebrating. Drew Davis is celebrating.
Yes, congrats.
Shout out, Drew. Guys, I mean, baseball isn't my sport, but you always want to see the guy, the underdog win that hasn't done it before.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good World Series. It wasn't great. I was looking up the numbers. Viewership was down kind of by a lot. And that's just because it just wasn't super interesting. Like
Right.
we talked about last week, you don't have the Dodgers in it. You don't have the Yankees in it, or even the Astros. And for that, you get low numbers because, the Diamondbacks and Rangers, not too many people were tuning in, especially because the games weren't great.
Right.
There was one last Friday that was an amazing game, and the rest were just kind of like 11-2,
Yeah.
7-1. Like they just weren't super competitive, and that's why viewership was down. But the Rangers, congrats to them. You always want to see a team that's never won it before win it. And I'm just very excited for them.
Yeah.
And I know Drew
always
was in the
cool,
office
yeah.
yesterday, super excited. He's
Drew
like,
was
I have to
hyped.
go call my dad. It was the cutest thing ever.
I
my
think he
God.
posted a pic of him as a kid
So
with his
cute.
dad at a Rangers game. So happy for Drew. But yeah, to Cienna's point, when you have a Tuesday afternoon or a Wednesday afternoon baseball game and it's two kind of not big market teams, like you said, the viewership is going to be down. But hey, baseball. I don't know what
Yeah.
else to say.
them. Sure.
I am the
Baseball.
We are the baseball experts.
We
You
are
and
the
me,
baseball
Davis.
experts.
True.
Baseball. Davis, what is a baseball?
What is? It's a small
Oh,
spherical
here we
object,
go.
Kyle.
These two be on the same wavelength.
I so hope the viewers that are like, what is he talking about? Like, hopefully you guys watched a couple episodes
go
ago.
back.
Everything that you're hearing is going to make sense
Yes.
if you do. So watch a couple episodes ago and you'll understand. So
The spherical object
what the
reference.
spherical
Yes,
object
please go back
reference.
and maybe, like,
yeah,
4
make sure
episodes.
keep going through every episode, scroll through.
Yep.
You'll find it, I promise.
All available on YouTube.
But yeah, now that baseball is over, it's sad. We're in full NBA season.
Yeah.
NFL's halfway through. College football is rolling. Hockey's
hockey,
going.
yeah.
So yeah, it's fun. And so in a couple of days or so, the MLB will release their, I guess, all-star list. Not
Yeah.
all-star list because the all-star game already happened. But like their player of the year, rookie of the year, their postseason, and the World Series MVP was Corey Seager, who used to play for my Dodgers. So I always still root for him. So
Shout out
big
Corey.
There you go.
shout out
Shout
to
out
him.
Corey.
And rookie of the year will most likely go to Corbin Carroll.
That is
friend
true.
Of the
Wow.
show.
Friend of the
Friend of the
Friend
show.
of the show.
Friend of the show, Corbin Carroll.
So also it's kind of good to see a bunch of these guys getting the call and stuff,
Yeah.
even if you don't win the World Series. But
Yeah.
he's so young, he has a big career ahead of him. But because we're talking about superlatives, you know, this is
Wow.
me making that transition.
There it is.
That was a good
That was a
transition.
clean one.
We
Yeah.
came up with
There
our
we go.
little fun game to do
Uh-oh.
this week. We have a bunch of different superlatives, and we have faces.
This is the
on
best. This is the
sticks.
best bit we have ever done,
This is
guys.
so
This
fun.
We're going to choose
There we go.
who we think is most likely for all of these.
Yay.
So let's get into it, Kyle.
All right, let
There
me
we
grab
go.
the list here. Also, I mean, these are
Shout out
These
to
are so
HNN
cool.
Printers.
yes. Shout out.
H&N
giving
printers,
us the
and
color
shout out to
option
Kyle Chinen who
for doing
cut
the work.
every single one of these.
Yeah.
No.
Kyle had an
All
arts
of
and craft
these.
moment.
I
Yeah.
was
Kyle
very
did some
crafty.
arts and crafts. He cut the
We're
nice shape
definitely
of
keeping
everyone.
these.
Also, shout out to my mom for giving me an insane stash of chopsticks.
I was just
because we
needed-
we're craftsmen
Yes.
over here.
I'm like, this is a big sacrifice to get chopsticks.
Don't
I
worry.
know. I wanted to eat.
I know.
Don't worry. There's still plenty in the desk.
I know where to
Trust.
go now.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty. First one,
'Kay,
in
I'm
no
ready.
particular order.
'Kay.
We'll go. Who is the most gullible? Ready?
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
All right. We have
Okay.
two
All
Kyle
right.
and
Two Kyle
one
and
Davis.
one Davis.
As the odd man out, Cienna, would you like
Odd-
to explain?
odd man
No,
out.
I just
Explain
think
yourself,
Davis
Cienna.
is just like the most wholesome,
That is
sweetest
true.
person.
Okay.
So I just assume that like he thinks the best out of the world and doesn't see the hate.
That is true.
And
Oh.
not gullible in a bad way, in like I
Okay.
wish I was that protected from the world.
That is true.
But
Wow.
I do see why you
Yeah.
guys would choose Kyle.
Yeah. I'm just a very trusting person in
Yeah.
general.
This
so
is so true.
I was thinking so
and
too.
I'm literally the one that's like, trust nobody. Like, nobody's your friend. Everyone's bad.
I mean,
I don't know how to follow that.
all right. Next one we have most likely to become president. Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Oh, if I'm president.
Madam
Yo,
President?
If I'm
Madam
the first lady
President.
president in the United States, the country is gonna blow up. Nobody works on Sundays. It's Chief Sundays.
There it is.
Chick-fil-A
There you go.
has to be open.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
See, that's what would make you great, you know?
all of a sudden,
I could do that.
I think you can make some changes.
every Sunday, the Chiefs are on primetime.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're the only ones. Nobody else plays on Sundays.
only ones.
Everyone gets Tuesday games.
Yeah.
Everyone plays throughout the week except for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Basically.
I will say, pretty much piggybacking off of what Cienna said, you just see the good in everyone.
Thank you, Kyle.
And if we had President Davis Pitner,
There, let me
it
join
would
you
be
guys. Here we
it would
go.
be world peace. World peace with President Davis Pitner.
And I think the thing about Davis is like he wants the world to be like he wants to
Yes.
do all these things. He would
Yes.
make sure homelessness, world
Wow.
peace, like
What is
world
going on?
hunger.
World hunger, yes.
All right, let's settle down
Okay,
now.
wait, Davis. Why would you think I would be a good president, though? I don't see that one very.
Well, I was going to select myself until
I think you should have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to, but then I heard your speech after that first one. I'm like, maybe she can make some moves
Everyone's
and make some
bad.
changes.
I mean, it would just be all Kansas City related.
Yeah, it would all
This
be
is
Kansas
true.
City. Yeah,
Kansas
all
City,
red.
Dodgers,
All red.
Lakers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any like NBA trade would have to go through me.
She's the commissioner
I am
of
the
every
commissioner
league.
of the world.
Yeah, literally, she'd run the United States like a
Tis
sports
true.
team.
Exactly.
And I would make a solder. Like I'm just gonna go on my campaign trail real quick.
There we go.
Yeah. there we
So
go.
none of that 5-day work week. We're not doing that.
Okay.
Maybe like if you want to come in the office, you can. You don't have to.
Would you break up Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift?
Oh,
would you like
yes,
force
I
Federal
them?
would.
crime?
A
Yes,
federal
I would.
crime.
Oh, 1,000%. Who do you
Arrest
think
Taylor
is the first husband of the United
She's gonna stop the Eras tour.
The Eras tour is canceled.
All her permits for venues
It's just gone.
null and void. Oh my goodness. All right, next
That
one.
was the best one.
That was a good
Oh,
one.
thanks, guys.
Next one, most likely to survive the Hunger Games. Ready? 3, 2, 1. See,
Yeah.
Again,
I think there's no explanation
no
after
explanation
everything that everyone's
needed.
hearing right now. I think
Cienna would, like, they have, like, I haven't really watched the Hunger Games, really, but, like,
you
she
haven't
would just,
seen the
she
Hunger
would just-
Games?
it was never really my favorite book
Oh,
series.
I love that Hunger Games.
But,
Hunger
like-
Games was good.
But, like, she just run it. I think she would just run it all.
I think so too. I mean, you heard it. You heard it in the beginning. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone's bad. I
Yeah.
feel like that's the mentality.
There it
You
is.
have,
So right.
That's the
Yeah.
mentality you have to
The
survive.
Hunger
So
Games, yeah.
I'd
just
say Cienna.
Not
everyone,
playing around, man.
not playing around.
All right, next one. Most likely to win a Nobel Peace Prize. In 3, 2, 1. Whoa!
Why would Kyle win
Why?
a Nobel
For
Peace
what?
Prize? In what world is that happening?
Did I find the cure to like CTE or something? Like,
like-
they
let
studied
us
my
test
brain?
his brain.
I just think you're just a great guy. I see the best in the world.
I don't know if they're
and,
giving out
it's,
Nobel Peace Prize
you
for
know,
being a great guy.
Yeah.
They
you
don't
never
give it
know.
out to anybody. it's like, hey, thanks for participating. Here's a Nobel Peace Prize, and I'll be like, thanks. But I mean, Davis, let's just.
I'm
screw it.
here for you.
You're gonna like craft like a thesis or like one of your documentaries are just gonna.
That
One
of
Ukraine
my
one? No, the Ukraine
documentaries.
one for sure
Yes,
is
yes.
gonna win a Nobel
Wow.
Peace Prize.
If anything, give him a Murrow for that one. Give him an Edward R. Murrow.
Yes.
You listening?
Murrow. Got close. No.
All right, next one. Most opinionated. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I mean, I don't even think we needed
Yeah,
to
I
mean-
really,
No,
I
no.
think
It's,
everyone knew, even the
Yeah.
audience here knew which one was going
Self-explanatory
on.
at this point. Yeah.
I mean,
I
the
have
hottest,
opinions.
the hottest of takes, and she always brings it.
I
Yeah.
will bring
She
the
does
heat.
bring it. She does
All
bring
right.
it.
Next one is most likely to win the lottery and lose the ticket. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
How many times are we looking for lost keys?
Oh my
Yeah, that's
goodness.
true.
Lost papers, lost
There- okay.
phones.
I totally agree. I am so forgetful, but like it's like thankfully it hasn't really bled into like assignments or things like that. The only
Yeah.
time it has most recently was Cienna remembers this 2 home games ago for UH football. For UH football, we get these like printed out parking passes that are for media only, and there's only 2, one for me, one for Cienna, and They're in an envelope that is always in my desk, and it just disappeared. And we spent about 45 minutes running up and down
like
this
3 o'clock when the game started at like 5.
Yeah. And I needed to get there for my live hit, and we were just turning the entire place over. Turns out our drawers in our desk have like a little back like pocket where the drawers go.
Did it slip through? It slipped through. Yeah.
So we were
just
slipping through my fingers, and so we were just going through everything, and Cienna's like, it literally couldn't have moved anywhere.
I was accusing people. I was literally like, this person took it. They had to have.
Yeah, probably.
Sorry if your name got thrown out there, but I mean, it seriously was like, no one's touching this manila folder in your desk.
Right.
But just one of those fun Kyle moments because it all worked out.
Good little Kyle.
It worked out in the end.
We made it to the game.
We did.
That's all that matters.
That's literally all that matters.
Yeah. As long as you get there. That's it.
As long as
that's all that matters.
We didn't know if we were gonna get there.
Didn't know. Yeah, they always say it's about the journey, not the destination. But we really needed to get to the destination, for work. But okay, final one.
All right.
Most likely to win The Voice. Ready? Mm-hmm. In 3, 2, 1.
If you guys have never heard, actually, who here would have ever, besides us, like no one listening would have heard Kyle sing. Kyle can sing.
I appreciate that, guys.
I actually haven't heard you sing, but
really?
From all the stories, Kyle isn't. You haven't.
We never.
Guys haven't bounced. No, that time. Remember Kapolei?
That's true.
Kapolei.
Yeah.
Remember?
HNN Overtime on the road.
When we went.
Oh,
to the
that's true.
Yeah. Kyle was singing it.
The jams were.
He sang Neo so sick.
That was good.
That's true. But also too, my close second is Cienna. It's.
Ooh.
I mean, not to like put myself on the spot, but I can sing.
Exactly.
Oh.
She can sing.
Madam President can sing right here.
This is a
and
Madam President.
The Hunger Games, you're lying.
If you're ever wondering in like 2045 when you're picking who's going to be the next president, Cienna Pilotin is your choice. Obviously, we have a Voice winner.
Yeah.
We have a Hunger Games survivor.
She survived. She's a survivor.
And no more Tavis Swift.
We brought him up again, guys. There it is.
Where's the counter?
That's actually 2 in 1 episode.
That is 2 in 1 episode.
Yeah.
And we didn't even mean it.
We really didn't mean it.
We didn't.
All right, guys. That was so much fun.
That was good. That was good.
We will utilize these cutouts more as the episodes go on. But for now, thank you so much for listening or watching this episode of HNN Overtime. To catch the other episodes in our catalog, you can head to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get the rest of our HNN podcasts. And be sure, please, especially for this one, check out the video version of the podcast on our YouTube channel. For Cienna Pilotin, Davis Pitner, I'm Kyle Chinen. Thanks for watching. See you next time.